Hey guys, so in today's video, I wanted to talk about some ways that you can deal with imposter syndrome. So there are plenty of times that I have dealt with imposter syndrome, but I didn't really know how to deal with it. And so I thought that it would be helpful to share. So the first one is to acknowledge that you are experiencing these feelings. It's common and it doesn't mean for sure that it's true. And if you see me looking down, I do have my phone because I made some notes just to make sure that I covered everything I wanted to cover. So number two would be reframing your thoughts. So that would be shifting your thoughts from I'm a fraud or I'm an imposter to I'm still learning and that's okay. And recognizing that competence includes growth and occasional mistakes. So one of the times that I have dealt with imposter syndrome was when I was in my sleep tech training program because I felt like I knew what I was doing, but at the same time, like actually going through and setting up patients and hooking them up with the EEG stuff. I felt like I knew what I was doing, but I wasn't really good enough. And so that is where some of those feelings came through. Like I said, there was multiple instances where I dealt with feeling like an imposter. So that's just one of them. Tip number three would be to keep a journal that includes your successes. Track your wins, any compliments that you receive, as well as any positive feedback. For a while, I had a bulletin board when I was living with my godmother that had little cards that I would get, or little compliments that I would get. And I just posted it up there so that I could see everything on a daily basis or whenever I needed to look at, somebody complimenting me for being good with the kids when I was working at the school or making people happy and making people laugh and smile when I was working at the clinic as a medical assistant. It's just helpful to kind of have those things around. And then again, revisiting it when self doubt hits to remind yourself of the facts. And I think that it's definitely helpful, like I said, to have those things kind of in your face so that when you're doubting your abilities or your capabilities, you can see that this is what people have said about your skills or about your personality or about your qualities. And so, you should recognize that other people have recognized in you what you're not recognizing in yourself or what you're feeling is not good enough about yourself. Number four would be to talk about it. Share the feelings that you're having with trusted coworkers, your mentors, or your friends. I wouldn't necessarily go around saying, oh, I feel like I'm not good enough, because some people might take that as you being a negative person, but it definitely helps. Like if you have somebody who you feel like you can really trust to talk about your feelings, it helps if you have that type of a relationship so that they can tell you, hey, you're being crazy, or, you shouldn't feel that way because blah, blah, blah. You have this, this, and this. You're really good at this, this, and this, something like that. Um, and you'll likely find that they've actually had the same type of feelings before at some point in their lives. I feel like everybody goes through imposter syndrome at different points, especially when they're going through training programs or when they're new on a job, something like that. Like I said, I feel like everybody deals with it. They just might not be as open about it as you. The next step is to stop comparing yourself to others. Everybody has their own journey through life and it's different. Focus on your own progress rather than comparing yourself to other people's progress or to where other people were at the same point in their journey. Because again, everybody's journey is different. There may be people who have been doing this for longer than you and they're also new on the job. You can't compare your journey as someone who is brand new to someone who has done this before, even though they're new on this particular job or, whatever the situation is. The next step I have is to set realistic standards. Don't try to hold yourself to super high standards that you know that at this point you're not going to be able to reach. Make sure that it's something that's realistic for you. Perfection is not the goal. progress is. Let go of the need to know everything or to do everything flawlessly. You're human. Everybody's going to make mistakes. And, it's just part of being human. It's part of our human experience. And so the sooner that you come to accept the fact that you're going to make mistakes, the easier it's going to be for you. Um, Number seven, again, I feel like I kind of addressed this in a future point, is to celebrate your wins. No matter how small they are, acknowledge your accomplishments because they are important and you earned them. And so even if you do something as simple as rewarding yourself with a piece of candy or something like that. If it's a big win, I would celebrate by like taking yourself out to dinner or going out to dinner with one of your loved ones or your significant other. Celebrate your wins however you feel is necessary. Like I said, if it's something super little, even if you feel like it's something super little, like doing something that you were afraid to do or that you felt like you couldn't, if you want to celebrate that by taking yourself out to dinner, go for it. Another one, which is the last one, is to seek mentorship or therapy. Talking to someone who can offer you guidance or an outside perspective can be a total game changer. And also, don't be afraid to acknowledge the fact that you need to talk to someone or if you need therapy, because I feel like so many people see therapy as a bad thing or something negative, and it's really not. Therapy has helped me multiple times throughout my life as an adult and as a teenager. I went to see multiple therapists. I've talked about a bunch of different things, and I've made multiple videos talking about, how therapy is not a bad thing. It's not negative whatsoever. It helps you process your emotions. And so, if that is what you need to help you in whatever situation it is that you're going through, then make sure that you give yourself that gift of someone to talk to, whether it's mentorship, like I said, or therapy. So, hopefully, this was helpful. Not a super long video, but I thought that it would be helpful to talk about it. Let me know if you've experienced imposter syndrome, if you're willing to share. I definitely have, like I said, in multiple different situations throughout my life as an adult, um, and also as a teenager. So, yeah. With that being said, that's all I have for today's video. If you guys have any topics you'd like to hear me talk about on my channel in the future, let me know. And any questions, leave those in the comments below as well. And I will talk to you in tomorrow's video.